Hi, family. My name is Shelley, and I am the Sober Psychic, and I am grateful to be an alcoholic and an addict. So, pulled a couple of related topics out of the YouTube topic folder. Um, so, even though I don't promote a 12-step program by name on this channel due to copyright issues, and I'm not trying to get booted off of YouTube. Um, we are going to talk about the ninth step, which is making amends to those that we have harmed. So the two topics I pulled out are the ninth step amends and cleaning up old karma, and family and friends that can't forgive us, and their purpose, lessons, and our soul contracts with them. I don't even know where to start. So, the ninth step, as I said, is where we make amends to those that we have harmed. Now, before that, we do an 8-step, which is making a list. So we're not just flying by the seat of our pants. We've already written down a list of people that we need to make amends to. And the truth is, you're not always going to be able to make amends. The rule of thumb, suggested rule of thumb for making amends is to do so unless it's going to harm someone, including yourself. So, telling your spouse that you cheated on them, and they don't know about it, for example, is probably not a good idea. That is something that we share with a support group or a specific support person, because we have to get it out of us. But you're not always going to be able to make amends to the people. Some have passed away, some just kind of disappeared, and you have no idea where they are. But this, the way that I have dealt with my ninth step. Now, initially, I wrote the list, and then I made amends to those people that I could, and a higher power tends to present me with someone at some point in time that I need to make amends to. So that's how I've been dealing with the amends. If I do a proper inventory on a daily basis, and you can do that more than once. Gee, I could have said this different, I could have done that different, I could have, reworded something. If I do that on a daily basis, that really cuts down on adding more people to my list for the ninth step of people who I have to make amends to. My analogy is I already have 15 or 20 train wrecks behind me I'm still trying to clean up, and I'm not trying to put another train wreck on top of the train wreck pile. So, and sometimes you're going to make amends to somebody and they don't want to hear it. And it's painful. And it's embarrassing. But mostly, it's humbling. Humble is the key word for anyone in recovery. Because humble means that we have put our ego aside. It's very humbling to write the list in the first place. And then it's even more humbling when you are actually able to make an amends to somebody for your behaviors. But to me, the most powerful form of humbleness comes from trying to make an amends to someone and they don't accept your apology. I have made amends to people who... Now, I ask first. Before I make an amends to somebody, I ask if it's okay if I make an amends. And if they don't know what I'm talking about, then I explain why I'm making the amends to them. So they'll say, okay, that'd be great. And then I do. And then, in retrospect, they're like, wait a minute, I don't accept your apology. They don't say that, but they start behaving in a different way than you would think someone who accepted your apology would behave. Now, to me, these ninth step amends are clearing up old karma. They're I have seen proof of it over and over and over in my life and in other people's lives, and I'm not judging other people, but just observing. Um, in my life, I've seen where the things that I've done have come back to me. So I truly believe in karma. Um, I don't wish bad karma on anybody, but a lot of times, if someone does me wrong, I don't need to say anything to them. Look, sometimes, you hurt my feelings, or that was really mean, or something like that, yes. But there's instances where I have to decide whether confronting that person is worth it. Are they going to argue with me when I confront them? Probably. Not for nothing, but most people are going to argue if I confront them about how I feel they've wronged me. So there's certain people that will do something to me that's unacceptable. And depending on the situation, I just will let higher power or karma take its course. And again, it's not being malicious, but I know for a fact that I get back exactly the type of energy that I put out. If I'm being nasty to somebody, the quickest karma is them being nasty back. If I'm worried all the time about something, guess what? That just perpetuates the issue, or creates an issue where there wasn't one in the first place. I was just worrying about it. So I've seen these things in action in my own life, and that's a personal belief. And if you don't believe that, that's fine. I understand. To each his own. It's all good. It's all good. But I do know that, and there's some people, and I've witnessed this more than once, where there's some people that will do these awful things to other people continuously, and it's like they never pay a consequence for it. The thing is, people who don't pay immediate consequences for their actions end up paying in a big way. When karma really does come back around, they end up paying in a big way. And, and I take that as a lesson. Again, not a malicious, oh, you deserve it type of thing. I've seen people do prison time. These people that don't pay immediate consequences, I've seen them do prison time. I've seen them get deathly ill, and I've seen them lose their lives. Now, I don't wish karma on anybody. As I said, I'm going to keep reiterating so you understand. I wouldn't wish something bad on anybody else. I could dislike you in the worst way possible, but it doesn't mean I want bad things to happen to you. So, when we're making these 9-step amends, we are clearing up karma. And the people around us, the people that we interact with, even if it's for a brief moment, these people are our soul family. We've had past life experiences with them. Some of them we've been in relationships with them, love relationships. Some of them we've been the mother and they've been the child, or we've been the father and they've been the child, or we've been the husband and they've been the wife. You see where I'm going with this. Every single person we interact with is part of our soul family. And we have a soul tie, a connection, a thread between us that connects us on a soul level. So when I make my amends, I just cleared up some karma. And I think I've mentioned this before. I came here this time around to clear up every bit of karma, and higher power said, it's going to be hard. And I said, I don't care. And I am still clearing up some of it. But for the most part, my karma has been cleared. And I have to tell you, making an amends, once I was done with it, there was just this huge relief. And you're going to find that in a lot of the suggested steps of recovery. That once you get through that step, it's a huge relief. The weight of the world is finally off your shoulders. and you just, everything is clearer. You have so much more clarity. And and I'm not going to use the word easy as in, oh, it's easy. Staying sober is easy. It is not easy. Some days it's easy. Some days it isn't. Early recovery is very, very hard. But there's this willingness of the dying, or the willingness of the desperate, the gift of desperation. Those are the things that motivate us through getting sober and then staying sober those first few months or a year or however long it takes. It's different for everybody until, for how long it takes for someone to start feeling some relief from sobriety. So, I don't think I've ever had anybody make an amends to me. Ever. But the thing is, when I make an amends, it's not about the other person. It's about me. Not to be cocky or arrogant or egotistical, but that's about my recovery, my peace of mind, so that I can stay sober and get that stuff off my chest. It's really important. Better out than in. It's really important to get things out in the open. And in sobriety, we learn how to do that in a more loving way. It takes some of us longer than others. And there's some of us that we expect all our troubles to go away, all our defects of character to go away because we got sober, and that just isn't the case. Some of the problems will go away, yes. But anything that is attached to how we think or how we perceive things, those are the things that we work on. Those are the character defects that come from the ego. Those are the things that we're working on. All the outside stuff, the fringe stuff, that's generally clears itself up. There are recovering people who ended up going to jail or going to prison, or ended up homeless anyway, or ended up without any money anyway. Those are direct consequences of our actions. So, my experience is that things begin to get much better once I am in that position of humbleness, doing that ninth step, tattling on myself to another recovering person, or a group of recovering people. And the 10th step too, that taking my inventory on a regular basis. Which is because now, and this isn't for everyone, but for me, even when I was using, I was extremely self-aware. I knew what I was doing, and I knew I shouldn't have been doing it because it was causing problems, but I didn't know how to stop it. And that took the support groups I go to, that took a specific support person that I would talk to on a regular basis, that would help me go through all those 12 steps that are suggested that we go through in order to stay sober. Those 12 steps are everyone on the planet should have a book of the 12 steps. It's just a format of how to live like a somewhat functioning human being. Well, early in recovery, no one's expecting you to function normally. You're not thinking straight yet. Your fog hasn't cleared yet. I was foggy and physically shaking until a year and a half into recovery. I couldn't go to any support groups until I was 30 days sober. Physically, I couldn't go because I shook so bad. So things don't get perfect, no matter what step we're working on. Things don't get perfect, but they do get better. The steps that we work in recovery are this guidebook. And they're called the steps for a reason. One step at a time. You might hear that a lot. One day at a time. One step at a time. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. 1 moment at a time. Because everything's not going to be hunky-dory just because we got sober. Because we created this hot mess that's going on around us. We did that. Doesn't make us bad people. Recovering people are some of the best people I know. With the biggest hearts. It makes us human. I think I mentioned it before. Because I chose to come back here and clean up all my karma at once, what better way to do that than to be an alcoholic and a drug addict? Who I feel I was destined to find recovery. I wasn't meant to die. And I have to tell, I can't, there's countless times. There's one time where, and I talk about that in my story, the part one of my story, I'll put that in the description box, the link for that. One time I was dead. And there were countless other times when I should have been dead. And I would watch a miracle happen right in front of my face. Something would change. And I would watch it change. And when these things are on, obviously I was in so much of a mental and emotional uproar. I mean, I saw it and it registered for a split second, but I wasn't really able to look at it thoroughly until I got sober. And that's when the gratitude list comes out and I start putting stuff down that I'm grateful for. Not just my clothes or my home or my food. Stuff that could have happened that didn't. And that brings me to something else. So we're making amends to other people. How about making amends to ourselves? Because we did ourselves dirty way worse than we did anybody else dirty. Or way worse than anybody did us dirty. We did ourselves dirty. So making amends to ourselves is a great idea. And I've done it. I forgave myself. I forgave the experience. I forgave the people attached to the experience. And then I thanked the experience for teaching me something. That's what we're here for. 2 reasons we're here. Humans. 2 reasons humans are here. One is to teach other people their lessons, to help them along with that. We teach each other our lessons. And 2 is so that when we learn these lessons and we exit the planet, we can go back to Source, God, Jesus, whatever you believe in. We can go back and report. This is the lessons I learned. And Source, God, and Jesus are ecstatic that we learned these things. They're celebrating us. They're blowing trumpets and singing songs and having parties. So wherever you're at in your recovery, if you're not up to a 9th step, don't try to do that until it's time, okay? Now some people will be guided by their higher power. Someone will be presented to them in physical form that it kind of comes out of them. I'm sorry I did this and I'm sorry I did that, because they were guided by higher power. So I'm going to suggest, yes, write that list, the 8th step, absolutely. But before that, if somebody is presented to you by your higher power, weigh your options first before you apologize. Because they may not be ready to hear it, and you may not be ready to apologize in the proper manner. Right? Things can get heated. And we're not trying to take steps backwards. We're trying to take steps forward. This 9th step will come, assuming you choose to work those suggested steps. The ninth step will come when it's time for it to come, when you're ready for it to come. And you're going to be a rock star. And you're not going to do it perfect. You're not going to get everybody on that list. You're not going to get everybody's name on that list. More people will come to you, and you will add onto your list. But that's okay, because you got the rest of your life to make these amends. And there's something that we call a living amends. If there's someone that you, like, I can't apologize to my parents for my behavior. So I make a living amends by staying sober and clean. There's someone that I've been looking for, and he lives very close to me, but I can't seem to get out anybody of where he lives, so I can send him a letter or whatever. Or maybe I'm not supposed to apologize to him. Maybe it's not meant for me to do that. So I make a living amends every day. I stay sober and I stay clean. So let me know what you think in the comments. I know this is a short one, but I also want you guys to, just a heads up, every day I will be posting a short video with the daily Angel Oracle message. Okay? Something new I'm doing. Just something for you to start your day with. Today's was kind of late in the afternoon, so I'm going to start posting those around, I don't know, I'm going to say 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning I'll start posting the shorts. Every day, a little guidance for the day. Something for you to carry with you. All right, folks. Thanks for showing up. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and especially comment. I really want to hear what you have to say. Questions? You can relate. Whatever you got, I'll take it. Stay safe, stay sober.